Here are your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
UFC 282, the last pay-per-view of the 2022 UFC calendar year. Folks, this is slated to be a good one. And I don't want to go too far back on predictions that were made once upon a time. But if you're a fan of this program, if you're a true supporter of the Bloody Water podcast, then you'll remember there's a specific individual who I had mentioned. I said, this man will be fighting for 205-pound gold one of these days, probably in the next 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 maximum. That man's name, Magomed Ankalaev, and finally he gets his shot for the vacant light heavyweight championship against former champion, Polish legendary power, Jan Blachowicz. Folks, breaking it down with me, as always, is my co-host, the Santa Fe bomber, the New Mexico native, my man, AJ, brother. How are you feeling, my man? We got gold on the line, last pay-per-view. Things are getting close. How are we feeling?
Derek, gold on the line for the Darkhorse in the 205-pound division, man. If you didn't bring it up, I was going to for you, because this is one of the calls that you personally, I mean, we've been shouting the Magomed praises for quite a long time on this program, but you personally have called out quite a long time ago, man, and it might be the time that the fruition actually comes true. I am feeling great, man. It is a crazy week of fights, folks. Right. When we were talking off air right before this started, this is a crazy fight card, man. Derek said it best when we were talking. This is a week where some of the favorites, I can see them losing. I could also see some of those favorites win, and it's another toss-up week for the Bloody Water podcast. For the fight week we have going forward, man, it's going to be a great time. I'm feeling good. As you can tell, Derek, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little nervous, brother. I'm feeling a little nervous. And you got to think about it, folks. You know we've been doing a head-to-head championship here this entire year. Only 3 picks separate us. I don't want to let too many cats out the bag, but let's just say picks might not all be the same this week. You know what I'm saying? But to cap it off, really, this is why I'm feeling a little bit nervous, man. Because you got names like Paddy, Pimblett, names like Jared Gordon, names like Alex Morono, names like Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell, right? People who are on the come up, a lot of hype, but this might be their moment to really take over, brother. And folks, I mean, AJ made a good point. I did mention, you guys remember when Darren Till fought Jorge Masvidal before the star was reborn in Street Jesus, Game Bred Masvidal? Look at what happens, man. And all it takes is for one fight, everyone to lean on the favorite, the underdog gets it done, and we have a new star. A star was born, as they say. All right, folks, we're going to cut out all the chit-chat, get straight to the fights, but I do want to remind you what we are fighting for here today. So, folks, if you do not remember, this is the 2022 Bloody Water Podcast Undisputed Championship belt. You'll see in the background we got a little Christmas tree right behind because it's only fitting. Holiday season around. This is what we're fighting for. You see the scoreboard below. Folks, if you're just listening, 140 and 80 for me, 137 and 83 for my man AJ. I'm getting nervous just talking about it. All right, folks. I just want to give you a friendly reminder. If you have not subscribed yet, you should do it now. 462 subscribers. Do us a little holiday Christmas spirit. Let's get to 470 by the end of the month. You know what I'm saying? We want to get 500. I'm willing to compromise. 470. AJ, maybe you a little more aggressive. What do you thinking? Maybe 485. That sounds a little more apt, right?
Bro, I'm still, man, my mind 500 all day long, but I'd be happy with 485. I'd be even happier with 490. You know, I'd be excited for the 500, but yeah, Derek, I'm with you, man. Folks, hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends. Do us a big holiday favor, because if it wasn't here for y'all, we wouldn't be here doing it, and it's the holiday season, man. Share it with your friends. Do us a favor.
Come on, you know. And without any further ado, let's get into some fights, man. Let's go.
Here's to another main card breakdown, courtesy of your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
All right, AJ, this is finally here, the moment of truth, right? We have a former champion in Jan Blachowicz, legendary Polish power, versus a true dark horse in Magomed Ankalaev. And before we get into it, AJ, just turn me down in the monitor just a little bit, because you know I like to get hyped up, right? Things tend to get loud over here. But this is the point right here, man. You have a fantastic grappler in Jan Blachowicz with devastating power versus a little bit more of a tactician in Magomed Ankalaev, who's also a fantastic grappler in his own right. Now, the story for some might simply be power versus being technical, right? I find it a little hard to believe that this could go 5 rounds, man, with these two big boys throwing them. Even though Ankalaev can do well with a nice decision, it's not going to be a problem for him to win that way. I just see it as a little tough sledding. Do you agree? Do you see it a different way?
No, man. If this one makes it to a decision, I'd be very, very impressed with the calculation and the patience of these two gentlemen going forward, man. Because you said it, Polish power. It's been storied, it's been proven, it's been through the ringer. Polish power is here, and it's not going away for quite a while. But Magomed Ankalaev, if you think this guy doesn't have power, if you think this guy is only death by 1,000 touches, you got it wrong, man. Both these dudes have crazy pop on their shots. Both of them are very skilled all around. This has the potential, I like you said, Derek, this has potential to either be a banger of a fight, a knockout, or a very, very tactful fight. So would I be surprised? Not necessarily, because I can see both of these fighters not wanting to get hit, but also hitting each other, as well as just going in there for an absolute slugfest, man, and making this one a dogfight. I don't really know how it's going to be. Of these two ways, do you see either one happening or a third going in this one?
I see a knockout, man. I see that being really the only viable option here. A submission for like Blachowicz submitting Ankalaev, I find that a little bit of a stretch. I think he can do it. I think that's definitely on the table. But Ankalaev has some pretty fantastic takedown defense. This is the question that I really want to kind of ponder, I guess I should say. Now, Magomed Ankalaev, yes, AJ, I'll take the credit. I've been saying this dude's going to be, fighting for gold. He's a dark horse in the light heavyweight division. Is this the way that we really imagined him getting a shot to fight for the title, though, right? Really, the only reason these two are fighting for championship is because Glover Teixeira, you know what I mean? He loses to Yuri. Yuri blows out the shoulder, just dismantles it. He vacates. Glover doesn't want to fight. I think it was Ankalaev on short notice. So they're like, all right, well, we'll give it to Blachowicz. Ankalaev, you guys were supposed to fight anyways, but might as well make it for gold. The reason why I asked that, his last fight against Anthony Smith, I mean, you win, but did you really prove anything? Not necessarily. This dude Smith, his leg just kind of gave out, and that was the TKO finish right there. The fights before that, Thiago Santos decisioned him, Volkan Ozdemir decisioned him, Nikita Krylov decisioned him, Jan Kutalaba, we remember that, man. He knocked him out twice. So my question is, are you sold on Magomed Ankalaev? Yeah, he's here. It is what it is. He's fighting for it now. But are you sold on the journey that it took for him to fight a very, very established journeyman / former champion / real lethal threat in Jan Blachowicz?
It might not be the classic Cinderella story or the come up story that the UFC likes to paint, but I think it is the dark horse story that is Magomed Ankalaev, man. Be ready when the opportunity comes. We say it all the time, Derek. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I think that's the Magomed Ankalaev path that's going to be presented to him. Because am I buying into the hype? Am I buying into the storytelling? Not really, man. It doesn't seem like the story's fitting together, but sometimes that's when the actual puzzle pieces come together. And I mean, to lay it all out, I feel like Glover said it best, man. Hell no, I ain't fighting that guy. That guy is an absolute savage. I want a chance to win the championship, not lose to another young guy. And Ankalaev seems to be that going forward. Do you think this is a foolhardy move for Blachowicz coming into this one? Or do you think Blachowicz really genuinely believes himself? Because if you're looking at those odds, man, it seems like the odds makers are struggling a little bit right here.
Absolutely. Apologies on the graphic, folks. Of course, it should say minus 240 for Magomed Ankalaev. It just says 240. That's just my error right there. But either way, for Jan Blachowicz, plus 200, I don't think that's the most... I think it could be crazier, but I think that there's respect at this plus 200 line. The thing that confused me, plus 500 for the TKO. I don't really understand that. That's the one that puzzles me. So I do think the line is a little bit off here. I think Jan Blachowicz, all it takes is one with these big boys, and the complete trajectory of the fight can change. But AJ, let me bring up a point really quick. You remember a Cinderella story last week, Roman Dolidze, right? Stay ready so you don't got to get ready. You don't leave to Georgia because you know what I mean? You stuck around and you got a short notice opportunity, and now you're a top 15 ranked fighter. Well, guess who is one of Roman Dolidze's direct training partners? It's Magomed Ankalaev. So this is a camp that I do believe stays ready. And I think that the trajectory of this fight truly playing out is going to come down to this, man. Who shoots first?
Ooh, good question. I think Ankalaev shoots first, man. I think he's the one that's going to be a little more willing to stick to the game plan. I think Jan goes in there and kind of gets a little ego test, a little bravado-ish. What do you think?
I actually disagree with you. I think Ankalaev is going to be the first to feint the takedowns, a bunch of feints for his takedowns. I think Blachowicz will be the first to truly shoot. And I do think that Blachowicz, okay, here's my whole entire thing to kind of wrap this up in a nice little bow, right? Jan Blachowicz, the path to getting the takedown for Ankalaev is going to be much more difficult than him actually being on the ground, maybe taking the back and getting into a couple of those positions where he really utilizes his jiu-jitsu. Taking Ankalaev down is going to be a big problem. working your magic when you're on the ground, I think that'll be a little bit easier for him. So the question is going to become, if he does shoot, will it be successful? Because we know in this division, an unsuccessful shot can very easily lead to a TKO finish. And I think that that's how close this matchup is. So if I have to break it down, I'm just going to kind of let the cat out of the bag, man. This is my pick for this fight. I have to roll with the dark horse in Magomed Ankalaev. Like, I would look like a fool all these months talking about he's going to be the guy. This is almost too perfect of a matchup here, AJ. You don't have to fight Yuri. You don't have to fight Glover Teixeira, who just choked out Jan Blachowicz. You get to fight the former champion, who, let's be completely honest, legendary Polish power fan favorite, was very much a journeyman before he captured UFC gold. I think this is a smash spot for Magomed Ankalaev. I think he gets the job done. Give me your thoughts, because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm still not entirely sure how he gets it done. But give me your thoughts.
Derek, I'm with you, brother. I'm rolling with Mother Russia right here. I think Dagestan is really taking over, and Ankalaev, like you said, Derek, when you fight him with that stay ready mentality, it's hard to deny him. And even though he is the dark horse of the division, I really do think this is a great shot for him against a perfectly not hand-picked opponent, but as good as you can get for a short notice fight like this. I'm going Magomed Ankalaev, and I'm taking that TKO, and I'm also taking it, I'm going to say round 3, Derek. I'm going early round 3. If I had to guess the over-under, I'm saying 4 rounds. What is it?
4.5 rounds. You're taking the under, and believe it or not, brother, I mean, I don't think it's hard to believe, but you're actually taking the favorites in terms of the odds, man. Minus 165 for the under, plus 135 for the over. And as I started this segment off, I said, it's really hard pressed for me to see this fight going 5 rounds, man. Really, really difficult to see that. I'm going to rock with the under as well. And I'm going to rock with the TKO for Magomed Ankalaev. And I do have a little bit of a hunch that it will come on one of those failed shot opportunities where a quick scramble happens and somebody gets put out of there. And we get, either way, it's a vacant championship. It will be new on Saturday night. But the question is going to become, which one of these guys would be ready to face a Glover Teixeira on a full training camp, or a Yuri Prochazka when he comes back? We will see. But that is your main event, folks. I'm so hyped up. This is going to be such a good one right there. All right. Now, speaking of hand-picked opponents, AJ, there's actually been a lot of hearsay going around Paddy Pimblett and Ariel Helwani and the beef and all that. But there's a lot of hearsay that's been going around saying that, hey, Jared Gordon is this hand-picked opponent the UFC has chosen to propel the career of a Paddy Pimblett. And if I was a casual fan of the UFC, I'd be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. But knowing what I know about the UFC, about MMA, and specifically about Jared Gordon, I think that couldn't be further from the truth. You're telling me a guy like Jared Gordon, a dude who has beat the Leo Santoses of the world, the Joe Seleckis of the world, who has fought the Grant Dawsons of the world, the best grapplers damn near that the UFC has to offer in the lightweight division. He fought Charles Oliveira, for God's sakes, man. That was like one of his last 2 losses. This is a guy who you're saying, cakewalk for Paddy Pimblett? I don't know if I agree with that, man. So before I get any deeper, because you see I'm a little amped up here today, my man, Paddy Pimblett is a star. We know this, man. He's nothing but co-main events, main events, pay-per-view cards from here on out. The question becomes, man, did the UFC almost put him in a jeopardizing situation? Because if this guy gets the win, I mean, this isn't Masvidal beats Till. This is who beats Paddy Pimblett? And it's Jared Flash Gordon, brother. What do you think, man?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Derek. This has all the comeuppance for a reverse Cinderella. You know, somebody that like the ugly cousin comes in, steals Prince Charming and sweeps him off his feet and takes them out the carriage, man. Because Jared Gordon is a very, very dangerous opponent for Paddy Pimblett going forward, man. And to say that they handpicked them the UFC handpicked this fight is crazy, because you just don't know how talented Jared Gordon is. This is a very interesting fight to be able to see how, and you made the comparison earlier to Masvidal and oh man, I just blanked. Who was it again, Derek? Masvidal and
Darren Till.
Darren Till, thank you very much. He's fighting on this card too. I'm excited for his fight as well. But Darren Till, man, if Jared Gordon can pull off what Masvidal did, oh my God, man, he will make a name, and the new cash cow will be sent to the slaughter. It's going to be crazy to see, because Jared Gordon is very powerful, and how quick Paddy is flying in and all the flashy stuff he has, all the flying knees, flying triangles, all that stuff. Dude, Jared Gordon can actually put it to him, as well as maybe not dominate on the ground, but hold his own for sure. That's what's going to be interesting to me, because you're right, Derek. He has handled some of the greatest grapplers, mixed martial artists, jiu-jitsu, ground game guys that the MMA game has to offer. But how can you do it with somebody who has been doing it at this kind of a level, with this kind of acclaim, with this kind of pressure on him? Because the pressure is going to be high for Jared Gordon, and arguably, could this be the most pressure he's fought under? I would think so. What about you? I mean, do you see anything else going on here, Derek? What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna have a rebuttal for that, man. I feel like the pressure isn't on Jared Gordon; it's on Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett has to win this fight, right? Paddy Pimblett's over here saying, "I'm getting him out of there in the first round." Jared Gordon, you have the true Cinderella story, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but what does he talk about, man? Yeah, I used to be an addict, you know what I mean? I used to be a heroin addict. I've been to the lowest lows. I've been in jail. I've done all these things, and you look at me now. There's nothing you can tell me that I haven't already heard from people that have hurt me the closest to me. Trash talk isn't going to work. It's going to be about getting in there, showcasing our skills. And if we know one thing about Jared Gordon, it's that he's a pressure fighter. He likes to walk forward. He likes to clinch. He likes to grapple, but he's also hittable. And Paddy Pimblett's a very hittable fighter as well. So I think this might be a durability test right here. But let's just like compare resumes a little bit, man. Yeah, the losses, but Jared Gordon's has lost to the Joaquim Silvas of the world, the Diego Faedas, Charles Oliveira's, Grant Dawson's, as I said before. These are all UFC losses right here, man. If you're looking at any losses before that, he only had one prior to joining the UFC. Paddy Pimblett, very, very reputable career, very established career thus far. But if you're looking at his losses, all his losses have come in, Cage Warriors, right? He was fighting for championships, he's doing double champ and all that good stuff, right? But look at the UFC. Luigi Vendramini, Rodrigo Vargas, Jordan Levitt. I think it's fair to say, just like talent stacking up in terms of resume, it's just not the same. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just not the same. Paddy Pimblett's dynamic. He'll throw up crazy shit. He's a fantastic grappler, great judo. But we know he's hittable here, AJ. So will experience kind of overcome in this fight? Will that be the deciding factor of the Jared Gordon, who's also a very hittable guy, just knowing when to kind of duck, dive, dip, dodge at the right times versus a Paddy Pimblett, who, when you get into that clinch and an elbow drops down or a big shot comes up, I mean, who knows? But that's what makes this fun. What do you think?
I definitely agree. Something, whether it's experience, whether it's luck, whether it's your night, whatever the case is, something's going to be need to lean on, because you're right, Derek. Both of these guys are hittable. Both of them have power. Arguably, Gordon has a little more power, and we've seen through every fight of Pimblett's, he gets tested, he gets tagged, he gets put in a rough situation, and even himself, he says it. It's not a fight until we really start getting in there and bleeding and feeling something else. I think he lays it out more elegantly than that. But Paddy does get tested all the time, and Gordon, man, Flash Gordon, he's not one to want to be tested against. This makes for a very interesting mix-em-up for these two, Derek.
The thing that I think is the most fantastic, I'm just taking a look. It's almost incredible, bro. Like, Paddy Pimblett is the definition of a finisher. He finishes guys. But Jared Gordon, on the other hand, while maybe not a fantastic finisher, he has 3, 5, he has 6. Oh, that's interesting. He has 6 finishes, 9 decisions, right? While he's not the most fantastic finisher, he's a man who knows how to get a win, right? Even if it comes close. I think that's what it's going to come down to right here. My question before we kind of wrap this thing up, plus 170 on the money line for Jared Gordon. I get it. It's hype. It's Paddy Pimblett. Of course, that's what the line is going to be. When we're looking at these prop odds, though, isn't it interesting that the TKO prop for Jared Gordon is plus 800, plus 265 for Paddy, plus 200 for the sub? Even though they're both fantastic grapplers, Jared Gordon can get subbed. I do agree with that. But plus 375, even split on the odds for the decision. That's what's interesting right there, brother. And for me to kind of go ahead and give my pick, I'm rolling with the underdog, baby. Give me Jared Gordon. Give me that plus 375 decision prop. Because honestly, man, I think it would be hard-pressed to see a finish here unless Paddy Pimblett really just puts the backpack on him, gets him on out of there, man. We'll see. He's fought a lot of time-tested grapplers. We will see, but that's my pick. What do you got?
I like it, Derek. I'm actually going opposite, though, man. I'm rolling with the Scousers this time, bro. I'm going Paddy Pimblett, and I'm taking that backpack. I'm taking that submission. I'm rocking. I think I'm going full across what Paddy's saying, man. Submission, round 1, making it early, making it fun, Paddy Pimblett style. Might even have to dye up the hair, Derek, and get a reverse perm.
That's right, bro. Come on, man. Liverpool be Scouser. That's right. Pardon the terrible impression right there, folks. But listen, the under on that 2.5 rounds is minus 145, plus 115 for the over. So clearly, I'm taking the risk right here, but I think it's going to be a risky night on Saturday night. That's what I'm feeling in my bones. All right, let's get it, folks. All right, now this is the one. This is the most recent bout on the UFC 282 docket. So Santiago Ponzinibbio originally slated to fight a legend, the ruthless one, Robbie Lawler. Gets injured, very close to the fight. And who do they call? One from a very game camp, a very game individual himself, Alex, the Great White Morono, man, fighting out of Fortis MMA. So a couple things that are interesting here. 5 days notice, and Alex Morono says, I couldn't give a damn. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm always ready. I'm always training. But there's one thing about Alex Morono that we know, and that is he's not the most impressive physique-wise, right? Always a little soft in the midsection, right? That's not a bad thing, right? But when you have a Santiago Ponzinibbio, American top team fighter, ready to go, coming off of a couple rough split decision losses, probably motivated as ever, do you feel like the cardio, the conditioning, some of those factors right there, just being in the gym constantly factors, like preparing for a fight, will play a large role in the outcome of this fight?
Yes, 100%, Derek. And this fight right here has me a little worried. But what I'm hoping for is the fact that, yeah, sure, that cardio, the conditioning, the having to, having to make this a catch weight fight, sure, that'll be a detriment, but what I'm banking on is the power of Alex Morono. The one thing that we've seen Ponzinibbio struggle with is bigger dudes who can go in there and put their weight and impose their will against Ponzinibbio going forward, and that's how he struggles with fighters. That's what I'm hoping for Morono, because Morono can get in there, he can grapple, he can make this thing a dog fight, he can really frustrate and bring Ponzinibbio into a kind of fight that he's not really wanting to get into. Ponzinibbio likes to be the quick guy, he likes to be the speedster, he likes to be in and out, hitting you when you're not getting hit, dipping in, getting out, and getting out of trouble. Morono can make this one a dogfight if he's able to implement, like I said, put his body weight on him and get things rolling that way. Now, can he do that with, like you said, Derek, the cardio, the speed, the quickness that Ponzinibbio presents? It's going to be a little interesting. This fight, man, it's rough to want to think to take Morono in this one, because he too has also had an up and down kind of a career. But across the board, man, Santiago Ponzinibbio, not always the most guaranteed bet to be placing either. Mm-hmm. Are you feeling pretty confident in this fight right here? Are you up and down, you back and forth like me, or what are you thinking on this one, Derek?
I'm very back and forth on this one, and the reason why is because I do feel like Alex Morono is that guy where when you count him out, that's when he gets the job done. 5 days notice, it is a little worrisome, because I do think best path to victory for a Morono, to be completely frank, clinching and grappling. Now, do you have the stamina to do that for 3 hard rounds on 5 days notice? If he's truly the monster he says he is, he's constantly teaching in the gym, doing stuff like that. If he's that guy, all right, maybe you can. But I just know that when you're training for something, like when you're constantly training in the gym, you're always going to be in good shape. But when you're training, right now, for an example, on the day that we're recording this, IBJJF No Gi Worlds is happening right now. Me and the folks at my team at Carlson Gracie Henderson, people have been training to go to that event, to go do that. I've been training to train. There's a different level in cardio. I think that could be a deciding factor. Santiago Ponzinibbio was ready to fight the Ruthless One, a stand-up war, but now you got a guy who can mix it up a little bit, and that's going to make it challenging as well. So that's kind of the whole key right here. Alex Morono throws a wrench in the entire game plan that it is for whatever this fight was, but Ponzinibbio, being such an established fighter, he even said it in the pre-fight presser, bro. He was like, listen, bro, I'm a fighter. I didn't need to study him. I don't need to do any of that. I'm going to go in there. I know how to fight, and that's what I'm going to do. A little worrisome, I'm not going to lie, if you're betting on him. But I will say this. Morono, being very much a student of the game, he studies everybody in this division right here. But it's going to be interesting, because look at the names that Santiago Ponzinibbio has fought since he's come back from the injuries and all that stuff, right? You beat Miguel Baeza, he stopped the hype train. Lose a very close one to hand to steel Jeff Neal, which now we're like the resurgence. And then Michel Paeta, you lose a very close split decision. I think this is going to literally come down to will, but I think the biggest thing, Ponzinibbio will be able to capitalize on the counter striking for Alex Morono, who likes to wing his punches. That's always been one of my big problems. I think when it comes down to that firefight, those are the openings Ponzinibbio is going to be looking for, and I do think he will take advantage. I am going to rock with the minus 180 favorite, original fighter, Santiago Ponzinibbio, decision against Alex the Great White Morono, who's got a fantastic chin on him. What do you think?
Yeah, man. It makes sense. Like I said, Derek, I've been back and forth on this one right here, but I'm actually taking the underdog. I'm taking the risky bet. I'm taking the 5-day notice right here. I'm going Alex Morono. Whew. Decision's hard, man. I'm going to have to take that plus 750 TKO. And I think it's going to have to come early round 2. the gas tank has been an issue before, and on 5 days notice, I don't know. I think we're fighting for a knockout here. TKO round 2, Alex Morono. What do you think?
All right. Just know, folks, and my man AJ don't even really sound too confident about this pick right here. So we will see. But I mean, listen, bro, this could be anybody's nights. Like I said, when you got the Alex Moronos, the Jared Gordons, the Dricus Du Plessis, right? You know, all these dudes, right? Like someone's gonna go down. We know that. All right. Speaking of Dricus Du Plessis, I think the person we should be speaking about is the gorilla himself, Darren Till, man. Listen, you got to feel for my man. Tons of injuries, rough skid, probably was elevated a little too quickly in his career with that star power that I'm pretty sure he's a Liverpool guy too, over there, Darren Till. And now you get this mean South African knockout machine who is just tearing up the scene in Dricus Du Plessis. Now, to be completely frank here, man, when you take a look at this matchup, on paper, recency bias, you're probably super smashing that minus 140 Dricus Du Plessis. But Darren Till, man, if you look at his last 5 fights, 1-4, doesn't sound good. You fought Derek Brunson, Robert Whittaker, Kelvin Gastelum, Jorge Masvidal, Tyron Woodley. Come on, bro. What are we talking about here? And this is kind of the point that I'm trying to make, is that Darren Till has fought the who's who's. He's literally fought some of the best people you can imagine in this division. He damn near fought for gold over here. And then you got a Dricus Du Plessis on the other hand, who his biggest win has been against a fantastic fight in Hawaiian in Brad Tavares, but that's been the biggest win. AJ, any word really quickly before we talk about this? I haven't seen much about Darren Till and Khamzat Chimaev as of late, man. They were best buds not too long ago, but I have not seen much going on in that relationship. I was thinking maybe they train and they're hanging out, they're buds. Darren Till, D1 wrestler, is coming out. Maybe when I seen Striker Till, but I haven't seen much. So what are your thoughts?
That's interesting because you're right. When Khamzat was really kind of coming up, you were seeing a lot of the bromance coming out, a lot of the buddy. But I haven't seen any publicity saying that Khamzat is in Till's camp for this fight card. I'm sure he is. Or I'd be interested to know if he is, because that's an interesting one right there. Because really, man, Darren Till, I've been a big Till fan for quite a long time, and it's been a rough go of it for his career. I don't know, Derek. Do you think that I imagine all? Excuse me. I imagine all is well in the Khamzat Till camp, but I don't know. And if it's not, do you think that'll come into play in this fight, or are we seeing a more focused, a more dedicated, a D1 wrestler too, like you're talking about? Because if he's going to win this fight, he needs to get back to that old school style of Till, that guerrilla fighter that going to come in, going to wrestle, going to beat you up, heavy hands, knuckles, alpha, just leading the fight, dominating from get-go, which unfortunately we haven't seen that in a lot of his fights lately. What do you think?
Absolutely, brother. Let me give you a little reprieve, sip some water, do all some of that good stuff, bro. But I'll tell you this much. Darren Till, I think, is going to come out to be the Darren Till that we all know and love, that one that we expect, man. He's going to come out. He's going to showcase that very strong left straight down the pipe, that left cross. And I think that that's going to be the thing that's going to kind of be the downfall of him in this matchup here. I love me some Darren Till. Been a big fan of him for a very, very long time. But at the end of the day, we've seen him be a little too low volume and a little too one-dimensional to truly have success. When you know that left cross is coming all day long down the pipe, you might have a right hook and a left cross coming down. You don't got too much to worry about. Dricus Du Plessis, on the other hand, he'll knock your block off, but this dude will shoot in on you too, man. Like it was rough, because I know that feeling. He had a body lock on Brad Tavares in his last fight and tried to throw him over his hip to get a beautiful throw, and it just failed miserably, and he put Tavares right on top of him. It's almost like he pulled into bottom side control, which is the worst place that you could be. Is Darren Till going to try to do some desperation things like that? Will Dricus Du Plessis make a mistake, do that to Till, and Till can then show off some ground game? Maybe, but I do expect this to be a standing war, unless Du Plessis makes it upon his own onus to say, I'm going to mix this fight up and I'm going to make it happen. He'd probably be a little smart, because you don't really want to stand and bang with a dude like Till, who literally, that's his game. He will stand and bang with you, and he will put your ass out if you let him land that left cross too many times. If it means anything to you, AJ, Tapology, the good old Tapology world, they think that 67% are going in favor of Du Plessis, 33% in favor of Darren Till. Before we give our picks on this fight here, what does that mean to you? You're muted, brother. You're muted.
Thanks again, brother. Yeah. That's actually interesting, because I expected more fans, or this to be more skewed one way or the other. Either a lot of people not giving the respect to Darren Till, seeing like a 90 percentile for Du Plessis, or seeing this a little bit more down the middle, because Till has a big fan base. And honestly, for me, seeing 33% was a little bit surprising. I was expecting this at like a 15 to 10% going for Du Plessis, just as a recency bias. Because, I mean, like you said, Derek, big fans over here. I've been a big Till supporter. I was even going against the chosen one, man. I was hoping Till got that win against Tyron Woodley. But it seems like a lot of fans have really started to not respect Till. And like I said, I was expecting. Are you surprised that this is where it's at, or were you expecting a 90-10 cut like I was?
I'll just say, man, recency bias is a hell of a thing. I never am too surprised these days by some of these picks. But I will also say this. This is the tough lesson the UFC and MMA has taught us from watching so diligently. When it goes bad for these fighters, it generally goes bad. And I'm not saying that to put any prediction. I'm not saying that to instill ill will on anybody. But I think Dricus Du Plessis just capitalizes on the moment, man. To let my pick out, give me Dricus Du Plessis, give me a second round TKO against Darren Till. It almost like it hurts my bones to even say something like this because I'm such a big fan of the Gorilla, man. But Dricus Du Plessis, bro, you don't want to play with fire. Look at these odds. Plus 250 for the TKO. You got better TKO odds than Darren Till. Plus 250 for the decision, better decision odds. Minus 140 for the money line. I'm not saying that the odds makers know everything, but I am saying, obviously, sometimes you got to follow the smart money. I think Dricus Du Plessis is the smart play until we see Darren Till get back on track. So, I'm going to play at that end. Second round TKO, Du Plessis, how you got it?
Yeah, Derek, I am with you on this one, man. I'm rocking with the smart money right here. And I'm just because it does hurt my bones to say TKO against Darren Till, I'm going to rock Dricus Du Plessis by decision. Just putting a little respect for the homie, man, because I do not want to see him get knocked out. In fact, I want to see Till win this fight. But I'm rocking with the smart money because we got a gold on the line, Derek. So I'm taking Dricus Du Plessis by decision for this fight right here.
100%. And I respect that. But I also will say, listen, it's not like Darren Till's just been getting clapped around out here, man. Yeah, you got submitted against Derek Brunson. Yeah, you got kind of beat up with those elbows in that ground and pound, too. That eye was looking a little roughed up. But literally, Masvidal's the only guy to really sleep this dude like that. Everybody else has been decisions. It's just been these kind of weird little losses. But yeah, that's your pick right there for the fight, folks. I'm so happy to see Darren Till back in action. He's looking shredded too, but come on, man. Follow the logic sometimes, right? All right, and the bout to kick us off for UFC 282, man. Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria. Now, this is a battle of the two undefeated fighters, man, and this is a tough one because you can make a real argument on both sides on why they're going to dominate this fight. You can make an argument on both sides on why the underdog of whatever your respective camp should win this fight. And it's not like it's too crazy of a stylistic difference, man. This is a grappler who got some real pop on a shot in Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria, who got some real pop on a shot but can also grapple his ass off. Now, if you're talking about a pure-blooded fucking grappler, like Bryce Mitchell's probably a little more grappling oriented. This is a dude pulling off twisters. This dude does thug jitsu type shit. You know what I mean? Shout out to Eva Edwards. But Ilia Topuria, overall, man, we've seen that he has something that's something that he can't really teach, and that's what I call gall, right? You fight a Jai Herbert up a weight class, you get rocked bad, you're literally in the worst possible spot. Thoughts going through your head probably how am I going to lose to this guy, man? I'm over here undefeated, I'm about to lose to this guy. You come back, you one-hitter quitter him, get back in that win column. He has gall, man. Bryce Mitchell, he's very much a momentum type of guy right here, man. He has to work for that takedown. He has to get you down. Have we seen a Bryce Mitchell, though? This is my question, because I love me some Thug Nasty, man. One of the first fighter merch pieces that I got was some Thug Nasty stuff right there, man. Have we seen him really suffer through adversity and kind of make his way back on top?
Not really, Derek. We haven't even seen, unfortunately, we haven't seen much of Bryce Mitchell lately at all. He's kind of really disappeared into the ether, because when Thug Nasty came onto the scene, I was expecting him to really take off, man, really get a lot of the praise, especially like you said, with the kind of style of fights that he has. He's finishing a lot of people in all these creative ways. He's a character off screen, but we haven't seen much of him lately. Now, do we see Bryce Mitchell coming in and just going to be absolutely dominating this fight? I don't think so, man, because on the other hand, Topuria, we've seen him give the current champ the hardest fight that the current champ has ever had. So will Bryce Mitchell come in and absolutely dominate? I don't think so. Will Topuria this is such a crazy back and forth fight, man, because I also think Topuria is going to have trouble on the hands. He's going to have trouble standing up, man. Bryce Mitchell's an interesting, awkward cat to figure out. Are we going to see a grappling match here, Derek? Or are we going to see a striking match? I don't know how this one's going to unfold, and I've been so back and forth. I'm genuinely lost a little bit right here, brother. What do you think?
Well, clarify something for me real quick, because I got too caught up on something you just said, and I'm still trying to figure it out. You said he gave the current champ the best fight he's had. Who are you talking about? Topuria?
Oh, wait. Sorry, I was actually thinking of somebody. Topuria didn't fight Makhachev. I was thinking...
Are you talking about Arman Sarukian?
So I was thinking Sarukian.
Okay, yeah. No, not Sarukian.
Aren't they from the same place?
No. Topuria is from Spain, and Sarukian, he is from, I don't recall right now, man. But he's a Russian guy. He's a Russian guy. Either way, here's the point. Ilia Topuria is still a fantastic grappler, man. He's fought fantastic grapplers. He's beat the Damon Jacksons, the Ryan Halls. He's fought the fantastic kickboxers like Jai Herbert. He's fought the kickboxers like Yusuf Zalals, right, who is finding success outside of the UFC right now. So I got to mention that. But... tell me your question one more time, because I was too stuck on that. Sorry about that, bro. If you don't remember it, it's fine.
I got distracted again, Derek. How is this fight actually going to break down? Because that's the one I don't know. Are we going to see a standing battle, or are we going to see a wrestling match right here? Or are we going to see something in the washing machine?
I think we're going to see a washing machine. I think Bryce Mitchell is the type of guy that it doesn't matter if you know that he's going to shoot anyways and make you stop it. Those are the dangerous people right there, where they're like, you know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it anyways to you. Can you stop it? And I think that Ilia Topuria is going to have a similar game plan to the one that he had with Ryan Hall. And I'm not saying stay back, watch the Imanari rolls, and then ground and pound. I'm saying you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to be diligent. You have to watch for your hips, keep the sprawls back, be ready to go, because Bryce Mitchell might pull some slick shit, try to shoot on you, and then come up over the top. He would try to mix it up on you. I think this is going to be a true battle of desire. I think this is going to be a true battle of technicians right here. But at the end of the day, I think Bryce Mitchell it comes out of him to a degree where he has to go and implement his will. And if that does not work, we just haven't seen it yet. I think Topuria is going to be the matchup where this does not work. And I'm not surprised that Ilia Topuria is a minus 160 favorite, but I do think that Bryce Mitchell, if there is a live dog on this card, Bryce Mitchell is the guy right here, man, where like if he grinds out a decision win against Topuria, be honest with me, are you going to be shocked?
If he grinds out a decision win against Topuria, nah, man, I wouldn't be shocked. In any way this fight goes, knockout, submission, decision for any guy, I kind of wouldn't be shocked, because they're so talented in all realms right there.
Exactly, and that's the point here, man. So when it comes down to a striking battle, yeah, I think Topuria has the edge, but I think that given that both of them are so good everywhere, this is just going to be a very interesting matchup. We're going to have to wait and see. But ultimately, this is the moment. We have to give our picks, right? And it's real easy for me to want to just say, we're going thug nasty, we're going all out. But logically, not with my heart, logically, I think Ilia Topuria has the chops that it takes to be able to get the job done. For this matchup specifically, to propel himself into the top 10. Real player, man. Real deal player right here. Bryce Mitchell is as well. But I'm going to say, give me Ilia Topuria. Tough son of a gun right here. And Bryce Mitchell, give me the decision. I hate to do it, but give me the decision. Give me the over for Ilia Topuria. How are you seeing it?
Yeah, Derek, another very tough fight, very back and forth for this one as well, man. And honestly, I'm going thug nasty. We're grilling him to the bone over here. And I think this fight's going to come down to being a dog. Who's got more of a dog in him when it comes down to those deep waters? And I think that's where we're going. I'm going submission. I'm going submission. I'm going round 3, and I'm going Bryce Mitchell. We'll see. It's a ballsy move. It's bold. It's brave. But that's how you win the money over here, and that's what I'm going with for Bryce Mitchell, brother.
Early or late round 3?
Early.
All right. Well, you will be taking the under, my good sir. Minus 135 for the over, plus 105 for the under. And put some respect on my man Bryce Mitchell's name. We're going to cook him to the bone. We ain't grilling nothing over here. We're cooking him to the bone, man. Shout out to Thug Nasty. But shout out to the Matador himself, man, Ilia Topuria. That is your main card, folks, man. You got to love it. And if you're still with us right now, which you should be because you just got the lockdown on the last pick, or I guess you should say the first one of the night, you should subscribe if you haven't yet. You already know what time it is. Come on, man. But with that being said, folks, let's jump into a little bit of a recap of the segment we just went over. These are your consensus Bloody Water picks. We are talking, Bloody Water podcast picks, excuse me. We are talking about the dark horse of the light heavyweight division, Magomed Ankalaev, over Jan Blachowicz. We're talking about Dricus Du Plessis. We're talking about the South African fighting the Liverpool legend himself, Darren Till. But that's what's interesting about this one, folks. That's all that I have for you when it comes down to consensus picks for the Bloody Water podcast. I like Jared Flash Gordon. My man AJ is rocking with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. I like the Argentine dagger Santiago Ponzinibbio. The Great White Alex Morono is in favor for my man AJ. And then lastly, he's taking Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell, while I will take Ilia Topuria. So this is going to be another fantastic lesson, folks, and you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. There's no other way about it. Who else do you know? There's 2 cards left in the year. 3 picks separate us, and we could have easily been like, let's just rock out the same picks, man. You know what I mean? Whatever, we'll play it safe, man. I want to preserve some leads. No, give me 3 different picks. I don't give a damn. Either lead is going astronomical, or the last fight of the year is going to be real interesting. I'll just say that. AJ, real quick, before we move on to the sleepers prelims, because we got to bust through those real quick, give me your take, man, in about 2 to 3 sentences at maximum, man. Where is this leading to? Anticipation, anxiety, how are we feeling? 2 events left.
Woo! Excitement, anxiety, and man, a little bit of like that feeling good, you know, Derek, when you're going into a kind of a battle or like something you really want to win, something that's that beautiful, you get a little nervous and it feels good, man. I'm excited for this this year to come to an end. I'm excited for this fight card, these last 2 cards, man. How you feeling?
Once again, man, I'm feeling a little nervous. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but I'm also feeling dangerous. And I'm feeling so dangerous that with that being said, brother, let's jump into some sleepers. Let's get it, man.
It's time for some fight night.
If you ain't paying attention, you're gonna sleep on me and I'm gonna wake you up.
All right, brother. So, I mean, listen, we just broke down an action-packed main card for UFC 282, but we can't forget there's always bangers on the prelims, and for that reason, I want to bust out a couple of those ones, man. So I got a fun one. You have a really fun one, and I actually want you to kick it off, man, because one of the gentlemen that are in your sleeper, Dana White, has actually praised as this is the next big thing, man. So kick it off, my man. Who are you talking about for UFC 282 sleepers?
You got it right there, Derek. Cameron Simon versus Steven Kozlow, bro. This one, Derek, this is going to be a fun fight. 2 young dudes coming in, going to be swinging it around. Like you said, Derek, again, a lot of hype on the Simon. And I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, man, but a lot of hype over here for this fight. I'm picking this one. This one's going to be short, simple, sweet, Derek. We got 2 young dudes who are going in, going to be on the first fight of the night. So you already know the UFC knows it's going to be a banger. And both of them are 6-0, undefeated. Somebody's O's got to go. Somebody has to show the boss that he is the guy that the boss is saying he is. And somebody else has to show the boss that I'm going to be taking your dude's lunch money. This is going to be a very fun fight, man. I'm very excited for this one. Like I said, kicking the card off right. We got Simon, we got Kozlow. I'm actually don't know which way I'm leaning on this one. You can see down below, 80% of the Tapology fans are leaning towards Simon, but it's going to be a scrap either way. Derek, which way you leaning? What are your thoughts and who you got?
Well, let me tell you first and foremost, bro. I've never seen a more interesting nickname for Steven Kozlow. Obi-Wan Shinobi the Pillow. I need some background, bro. What are we talking about? I need to give me some background on how you get a nickname like that. MSP, look, that's short, sweet, to the point. My man said Obi-Wan Shinobi the Pillow. So you're a Star Wars guy, you're a ninja, and okay, all right. I'm just going to move on right there. This is going to be a fun matchup, man. You couldn't have said it better. 6-0, another South African right on over here in Cameron Simon, or however you say his last name. If you get a big win here today, man, I will absolutely know how to pronounce your name next time I talk about you. But Steven Kozlow, man, both of these dudes, submission threats, knockout threats. I do love to see from a Kozlow the diversity of submissions, rear naked choke, rear naked Kimura, rear naked triangle, right? A lot of rear naked. That's bread and butter. Take the back, choke them out, put them to sleep. But triangles, Kimuras, being able to pull all of those off in a legitimate like scrap, man. I mean, that's what you'd love to see. Now, folks, my sleeper is going to be simple. You can see it's been a trend, right? I'm going to give you 30 seconds on why you should watch this fight, and it's going to be a banger. I feel like it's been the past how many ever episodes we've been doing, man. I've been giving you banger after banger. And I want to talk about Eric Silva versus TJ Brown. Eric Silva, veteran in the game. very established, and really like made a big mark, man. If you're looking at like last couple of like fights that he's had, obviously 5 wins, lots of submission threats right here. TJ Brown, on the other hand, coming off of a loss against the controversial Shaylan Nerdenbecka, but he does have wins against Charles Rosa, wins against Kai Kamaka, a couple losses, Danny Chavez and Jordan Griffin. But we know one thing for sure: both these men are going to walk forward. They're going to bring a fight, and TJ Brown is one of those dudes who's on the end of a lot of split decisions, not because he's not a game fighter, because he's so game of a fighter. Even if he's out, he's still in, and that's the entire point. Eric Silva is somebody you need to watch for. It's a -110 pick'em fight right here, so I can guarantee you one thing. I can't guarantee you who's going to win, but I can guarantee you this is going to be a banger, lots of violence, and this is a fight that you need to tune in for. Now, with that being said, AJ, I think my sleeper speaks for itself, if I'm being completely frank with you. And I think that while we have a couple of minutes left, because we're running pretty good time here, why not break down a couple of other prelims for UFC 282? So the first one that I want to talk about, man, is a return of an individual we have not seen in quite some time. And I'm not going to even sit here and lie to you, bro. Last time I checked, I swear on everything, I was like, this dude got cut from the UFC. He's in a different promotion. But I would be lying if I was saying that was the truth, because that's not. And the man that I'm talking about is the golden boy, Edmen Shahbazyan, man, the former protege of a Ronda Rousey. Coming off of 3 bad losses after beating the mean Hawaiian Brad Tavares. You got Derek Brunson, you get beat up. Jared Hermanson, I remember that one very clearly. Everyone thought that Shahbazyan was going to beat up on Hermanson. Hermanson put it on him. And then Nasruddin Imavov, which you can't be mad at, because Imavov is an absolute monster. What do you think about this matchup? What do you think about Edmen Shahbazyan first?
Man, crazy, because when you said it, I was like, Shahbazyan's fighting on this card? I didn't even realize, man. I was looking, there's a stacked card for these prelims going forward, man. Excited. I also thought Shahbazyan was gonna win, not his last fight, but the one right before that, against Dalcha, against Lungiambula, man. This is a very rough fight, I think, for Shahbazyan. Lungiambula got power, Shahbazyan's got the speed. I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards, this is hard. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Lungiambula. What about you?
You know what, man? I like me some Edmen Shahbazyan. Both of these dudes carry the knockout threat. The question is going to be, does anybody mix it up? I think the guy who mixes it up can win the fight, man. But if they're going power for power, shot for shot, that Dalcha is not a guy you want to go shot for shot for. But Shahbazyan, yeah, he might be the golden boy. But listen, that's how he made his comeuppance, man. You know what I mean? He's knocking dudes left and right. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. Let's talk about this one right here. The action man, back in action. Chris Curtis against new monster, Joaquin Buckley. This is literally these two on Twitter, after you saw that very fantastic war between Kevin Holland and Wonderboy, says, hey, Chris Curtis, I think he mentioned to Joaquin Buckley, he was like, hey, bro, 3 rounds. Let's one-up him. You down? And it's like, damn, you got that energy? Oh, this should have been on the main card right here, bro. Question. Both fantastic strikers. Joaquin Buckley, listen, fucking powerhouse, can take a shot. I think that the winner of this fight is the one who can really implement his game plan and continue to walk forward when the other one tries to and fails. Who is the guy that can walk forward after the first guy tried and failed?
I think it's Chris Curtis, man. If it's been proven one way or the other, I think Chris Curtis is the one that gets that done. Joaquin Buckley sometimes, and I think the only time that comes to memory really off the bat, I don't have any notes up, was the Kevin Holland loss. We saw Joaquin really struggle and not fight his normal style in that one. It kind of looked like he broke a little bit. So I think it's Chris Curtis. What about you?
I think Chris Curtis will be able to implement his will here as long as he could take a couple of those early shots from Joaquin Buckley, because I don't think anybody could eat those early shots from Joaquin Buckley flush. But you got to take a little bit of the game plan that Nasruddin Imavov put on Buckley, man. Nasruddin Imavov put Buckley in a position where he was too hesitant rounds 1 and 2, and then by the time he was ready to go, it was too late and he was too tired. Chris Curtis, great gas tank. He is coming off of that loss to Jack Hermanson once again, where if you don't get into that rhythm you're accustomed to, same situation right here. It just took him too long to get established and he lost the fight. So I think these dudes are going to learn from their lessons and we're going to see a firefight right here. So that should be fun. But talking about firefights, brother, I mean, come on. We got another one. Billy Q versus Alexander Hernandez. So Alex the Great versus Billy Quarantillo. I mean, dude, you have a gas tank pressure fighter in Quarantillo. You have a nonstop power puncher. Dude wants to wrestle you out in Alexander Hernandez. I mean, both of their strengths are they're the same but different, right? Like same, but like different, right? So at the end of the day, I like Billy Q with his pressure style, but I think Alexander Hernandez is kind of the perfect fighter to mitigate that style of Billy Q. What do you think?
Man, for some reason, I thought these two had already fought because this feels like a match that has needed to happen, has already happened, or this is like, the cousins fighting at the kids' party, man. Because you're right, Derek. Same, but different for these two fighters. I'm leaning towards Quarantillo, but Hernandez every now and then can pull something out that just out of nowhere where he does fight like Alexander the Great. Also rocking with Q on this one, but it's going to be good to see these two fighters really go toe to toe because this is maybe not the future of the division anymore. I feel like their times have kind of started to dwindle a little bit. Father Time is catching up. But this is going to be one of the people we're seeing for quite a while right here, Derek.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie to you, man. I love me some Billy Q, but Alexander Hernandez, the Great Ape, I forgot. He changed his nickname to the Great Ape, not the Great anymore. I think for Alexander Hernandez, he might take a page out of Shane Burgos' book and try to put the backpack on Billy Q to try to get that dub. Gas him out, put the backpack, and get a win. Go home with a pocket full of cash. I have a feeling, a little bit of a hunch. I would love for neither fighter to have to lose, but it is what it is, man. This is going to be a fun matchup right here. Daniel Da Silva versus Vinicius Salvador. Dana White Contender Series alumni right here. And then Daniel Da Silva, dangerous jiu-jitsu cat. Don't even want to talk about the matchup, man, but just know this is going to be fireworks. This is going to be really, really fun. And Salvador is a guy you need to keep an eye on. Da Silva's always been a guy. I've made him a sleeper a couple times here on this show, man. But just know, fun fight to watch out for. And then the last one that we need to talk about, man. I mean, two of them, I guess. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus your boy. Another one of the Dawkins bros is up in action, man. This is a tough matchup for him. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Rozenstruik is a very tough matchup for him. Chris Dawkins, though, I can see well-placed shot, well-placed timing, get Rozenstruik out of there. However, I'm really heavy on Rozenstruik in this matchup. What do you think?
I'm hoping the chin of Dawkins has solidified a little bit, and I'm hoping he's able to use the speed. But this is a hard fight, man, because Rozenstruik is strong, fast, very, very smart in there. Has a storied kickboxing career. This is a very uphill battle. I want to see Dawkins win. I'm leaning towards Rozenstruik. Yeah, it's a hard one.
And then the last one, man, I want to get your thoughts on this one because you probably don't really know the connection that I have to this fighter. But Jay Perrin is fighting Raul Rosas Jr., right? Youngest UFC signed fighter. Like, this dude is ready to go, man. You get the Dana White shot. Now you did some work. You fought a grown man. Now you fight an even more grown man in Jay Perrin, right? Rosas, though, man, a lot of people giving a lot of hate to this kid, man. And I'm not really understanding why. He's flashy. He's got the bravado. He's got the charisma. I'll tell you that much. He's a showman. And I actually watched him at a combat sports coverage event, earlier this year, man, where he was fighting one of my teammates, Dom Bailey. And it was a jiu-jitsu match, submission only, right? This dude's flashy. He's dancing the whole time. Like, he's ready for the spotlight. And that's one thing that I'm very confident about in this matchup. But I don't understand. I want your thoughts on him in general because I don't understand the hate that is being delivered his way. Because at the end of the day, man, this is a 17-year-old kid or 17, 18-year-old kid now, I think, who is accomplishing a lot of things that grown-ass people our age and above could only dream of. So I'm not understanding why they think that, he's not ready. That if Dana White thinks you're ready and you're a 17-year-old kid, you're probably fucking ready. How many people does this dude see every day who's begging to get into the UFC? So clearly, jiu-jitsu's fantastic. Got some fancy striking. I mean, what do you think about the kid?
I'm a fan, Derek. I mean, he's the heel we need to see coming up because not everybody can be a good guy. Not everybody can be a Stephen Thompson. Sometimes you need somebody to be full of yourself and confident in yourself because who's not going to believe if you don't? Mm-hmm. I think, man, Raul Rosas, he's the one, Raul Rosas, however you say it, yeah. He's the one that's going to be coming in. And I think a lot of people are giving him hate. One, because you're jealous of the come up, man. An 18-year-old dude's going to come in and he's on TV talking shit, looking with some swag. You know, he's the dude that's going to be stealing your girl at the club. You got to hate this guy. Also, he's coming in talking mad shit to Jay Perrin saying this dude's better off to be a milkman or something. I forget the exact quote he said, but this dude he can't hold a candlestick to who I am. You got to love to hate the man. So I'm a fan. I think we need more heels in this sport, Derek. I know it's not the martial artist way. I was trying to think of the book, man, Sun Tzu way, but I like him. What about you?
Yeah, not a Bushido type of individual himself.
Thank you, brother.
Not very Bushido of him, but I will say this dude, he's learned the playbook. And the playbook is come in, talk some shit, be brash, and get your fucking check. And then, you know what I mean? Do what you need to do. I'll just say this. Jay Perrin is a grown ass man, like a super duper grown ass man. So that's my only concern, bro. I do really believe in the difference between grown man strength and 18-year-old strength. There's a difference. I'm sorry if you don't believe it. Be an 18-year-old and go fight somebody that's fucking 30 years old. It's just, it's different. And if you look at the two dudes that Jay Perrin has lost to, it's been Mario Batista and Arichi Lang. Like, come on, bro. These are savages right here. I think Jay Perrin has a real opportunity to win this fight. But I'm interested to see what Rosas can do. I'm really interested. If he loses, I don't think his stock goes down. The kid's 18 years old, man. But if he's flashy and he gets a win, oh man, he's literally already being put on the top 25 fighters in MMA under 25. Dude hasn't even had a UFC fight yet. You know what I'm saying? But I love the flashiness. I love all that, man, and I love the Vegas connection right here. So shout out to him. It should be an interesting fight. And folks, that's all we got for you for this UFC 282 card, man. Honestly, AJ, at this point, I'm really relishing these moments because we know very soon here we're gonna go a month and some change with no show. With no nothing, right? Maybe we could break something down, but it's going to be a nice reprieve. Get the energy tanks refilled back up and then come strong. Because the one difference between this program and what NFL analysts do, NBA analysts do, hockey, whatever these major sports are, this shit's year round, bro. This is all year. We go for a year stretch. Everybody else, you got a couple, 8 months, 6 months, listen, 12 months of fucking fights. Let's go, brother. Give some people some last words and let's get up out of here.
And that's exactly why we stay ready, Derek, so we don't have to get ready. So folks, stay ready with your finger on that subscribe button. Send it to your friends. You already know the deal, man. Help us out so much. We already said it. It's the holiday season. We're in a giving spirit out here. So give your family and your friends the best gift possible. And that's a little bit of holiday cheddar in their pocket when they're winning these fights. Because like Derek said, we won't be here at the beginning of the year for a couple weeks just because that's how the schedule works out. But you know we'll be here back next year. So get the winning in when you can, get the money in the pocket. We know it's a time of year when everybody loves that kind of stuff, and we'll be back next year. But for the meantime, man, I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for these last two fights. Derek just showed the gold we have on the line, but also, like you said, again, make sure you're sharing with your friends. We're trying to hit that 500. We're trying to get those numbers up because a lot of the talk on the forums, a lot of the talk on the underground is this is the best mixed martial arts betting show out there. We just need just a little bit more eyes, and we'll be up there with some of the greats on ESPN. Come in here. You heard it here first, folks. Your favorite fighter's favorite fight show. I'll go ahead and shut up and let Derek get us out of here, but it's going to be a fun one this weekend, brother.
That's all I got to say, man. Gold is on the line here. We got 2 events left. We're not only giving you guys fantastic picks, we're over like a 65 to maybe 67% accuracy rating over the course of 12 months. I mean, listen, I'm not saying Yanni the Greek ain't tight, bro, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying without saying. You already dig what time it is. Folks, smash that subscribe button. We will talk to you on the flip side on Monday for the post show of UFC 282. Until next time, folks. Peace.